Well, our first question today is actually kind of related to that a little bit. Michael says, I felt like you should have, he was talking about our episode 54, where I was talking about Mac versus PC, which is the better way to go. And it said, I felt like you should have explained a little more of what type of user should buy what kind of machine. I may be wrong on this, but I always felt inclined to tell my video editing friends that a Mac is the way to go, and that a PC can do just about everything else well. Well, I was trying to not be biased in my review of what I was talking about, and so there's pluses to Windows and there's pluses to Macs, and I could do a whole video gripe session on Mac features and another gripe session on Windows features and another one on Vista features. But, you know, there are pluses. Windows has really come a long way as being able to do a lot of the multimedia files. You know, you have Photoshop comes in a Windows version. Yeah. You have Adobe Premiere, which is a pretty good video editing program for Windows. If you really want to go pro editing, video editing, you could use Avid and instead of Final Cut Pro. I personally do use Final Cut Pro. I use the Mac because I like the interface better. There's fewer problems with the Mac side, and with the Mac I can run both Windows and Mac stuff. It's great for our instructional purposes here, and I'm not trying to tout Apple at all, but it's just for what we do here, it's real easy for us to be able to switch to another application using the Parallels program to quickly show how to do something in Windows XP or in Vista or in Mac, which works really great for us. So yeah, I think iMovie is probably better. Well, I definitely think iMovie is easier to use, iMovie 06 that is, than Windows Movie Maker.
Which is not bad. There's tons of YouTube videos with it. Also, I've kind of noticed if you're one who likes to tinker with your toys and, you know, go in there, add a new hard drive yourself, or, you know, add this new card or something, you might be better off with Windows just because they have more things out.
It's hard to break open this case to add more stuff. You got to add it all externally, and that can be a real problem. Trying to upgrade your video card, not an option unless you get the tower, and the tower is expensive. So, you know, it depends on what you're wanting to do. It more comes down to what kind of hardware do you like and what you're wanting to do with it. But as far as applications, no, there's gobs of software to do video editing and graphics type of stuff on there. I do like the integration Mac has with the iLife, iMovie, that sort of thing, although that seems to have died a little bit with iMovie 08, where iDVD doesn't want to work so well with iMovie. It's just things are changing at Apple, and some things are not such a good design, and so things are constantly changing. It's hard to say right off the bat which one you should go with, but there are certainly pluses and minuses. Sorry for hedging a little bit on this. Personally, myself, I like Vista a lot because I'm not a legacy. I'm traditionally a Mac user, but what I have used with Vista I have liked, but there's some things that just don't make sense. Like I recently installed a new program on Vista and it didn't automatically show up in my All Programs under the Start menu. I had to manually add that in. And that just seemed ridiculous to me that it's not there. So there's some things about that that I really hate. I'm pretty much a Mac user. I find that that's the easier way to go. But I'm not afraid of Windows to be able to do some tasks in Windows as well. I even went into Adobe Sound Booth on a PC to be able to edit some audio once recently.
I've been a Windows user most of my life. You know, I've switched over to Mac recently, but that's how I learned. I started with Paint Shop Pro and then learned Photoshop on a PC, and now I can go to both. So really, I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe you don't have to choose. Maybe it's nice to, you know, hold hands and be married in this situation.
Yeah, it depends maybe, you know, what you're able to afford. The Macs do cost more. I do feel like what you're paying for with that more. It's a really cool, convenient design, as well as
nice customer service from what I've experienced.
Excellent customer service. The big gripe I have with PCs is the customer service that I get at HP. Stunk. They have great deals. I love their laptops. I love their designs and some of their hardware.
Oh yeah.
But if you run into a snag, you'd better be a techie. You'd better be a techie. If you're not a techie, don't be buying that cheap HP for sale at Staples. Otherwise, you're going to be running into a problem, and you're going to be talking to someone who may not speak English, as well as being navigated through so many people.
From what I've seen, Dell's gotten a lot nicer. They used to be kind of lower, but you know, I've had some friends who've had Dells. They had to have problems, and Dell also has the new thing where they can actually directly connect to your PC from their place and look at your system and see what's going on. So that's nice.
Yeah. So you know, take a look at that. Get on the forum, see what you think about that. If you have an opinion about this and you want to share more, not just Michael, but Michael, you can again. Get online, post comments directly on our blog site. We've mentioned that before. Basically, if you just do a Google search for Ask the Techies, it's the second link. It's It's our blogspot address for Ask the Techies video podcast. And go to that one, and you see a place to add comments. If you don't have an account, a Google account for like Gmail or whatever, you can create one. It's free. It's great. And that way you can post comments and share your opinions as to whether you think Mac is better or PC is better, if you've had experience with both. Let's get the word out there. Let's figure out what is better for different tasks. It's not just my opinion and Brandon's opinion, although we're probably the most important opinions that you can listen to.
Definitely. Definitely.
It'd be good to hear from other people and try to go with the facts. All right? So post your comments on that.
I actually would like to hear from Michael again on, if he feels like we've answered your question or so. Or Michael, like we were saying, give us your opinion.
It's just easier. What I find with people when they try to use the Mac is it just makes a little more sense. It's a little more intuitive for people, especially new computer users. The big problem, though, is it's hard to find tech help. If someone does have a problem, it's hard to find a Mac head who knows how to show them how to fix this or that. And Macs do have their share of problems,
But
too.
you could always ask the techies.